Hi, and welcome to part 2 of 3 of the RPG show episode 1, which is all centred around the Ark the Lad collection. This time I shall be taking a look at Ark the Lad 2 and a quick glimpse of Ark Arena, although I haven't played that particular title very much, so my expertise is quite limited. Here you can see the intro for Ark the Lad 2. Gameplay wise and from a graphical perspective, the game doesn't differ all that much from the first part, except it is far bigger. My completion time without doing much levelling up of monsters and all that sort of thing was 50 hours. You can quite easily reach that amount of time and play even longer if you want to. There's also much more freedom than the first game. You can wander around towns, take on lots of side jobs, because your main character Elk is in the Hunters Guild, and you take on missions, some completely optional and some part of the storyline, to earn money and equipment, level up your characters of course, and instead of battles happening at very sort of prescripted times like the first game, in the second one they can happen as you're wandering around larger dungeons, so in much the same vein as something like Final Fantasy, where you'd enter a random battle. In Ark the Lad 2, monsters can appear, and then you'll enter combat. In this cutscene, the Empire has invaded this sleepy little country to obtain the Fire Guardian, which you can see here. And a small band of rebels are trying to prevent them from doing this, but of course they are unarmed and are completely hopeless in defending themselves against the might of the Empire. And the main character, Elk, features in this cutscene as a small boy. You'll see him in a minute, trying to defend his fellow townsfolk, but sadly they all get gunned down. There they go. And naturally Elk is a bit upset at this, and he somehow manages to channel the power of the Fire Guardian and toasts most of the enemies, as you're about to see any second. Here he goes. Flame on. They're all dead. Couple survive, and unfortunately for Elk, that has completely sapped all his power and he can't do it again. So the scientists basically end up abducting him and taking him to a lab to carry out experiments on. But you don't immediately find out what happened in that lab. In the meantime, the game fast forwards to Elk waking up from a nightmare, because this is all him dreaming of what happened some time ago. And of course his last memory is that the Empire signalled the Silver Noah, which was Ark and Party's ship in the first game. So of course he's out to get Ark, thinking that he's something to do with the bad guys, but eventually teams up with him. Yeah, it is some way into the game before you get all your old characters back with their levels intact from the first game, but after you've put in I can't remember exactly, I think it's a dozen or so hours, you eventually get access to the rest of the party. This is one of the very first Hunters Guild missions in the game, and it sees Elk going to the airport to sort out a hostage situation. Basically, this terrorist wants to shut down the airport and has taken this girl hostage who has run away. He's not a very good terrorist, really. So your first combat of the game is to take care of this guy, and it only takes a couple of turns. So stab him with the spear, then he'll have a go back, but he's pretty pathetic, really. Again, I pressed the wrong button here, I believe, when I'm trying to find the abilities. Yeah. Here, Firestorm. It's a fairly similar ability to Burn Ground from the last video that I shot, but yeah, I preferred Ark as a main character, to be honest, and as soon as he came back into the game, Elk was sort of on the sidelines a little bit, but there are some cool characters. I mentioned Lieza last time, who can cast the spell Ravish on monsters, and then they will become part of your party. This is another big addition to the game, but it's ultimately not that useful, because if you spend too much time focusing on leveling up monster characters in your party, then you may end up in a storyline situation where you can only play a certain storyline characters, and they'll be too weak because you spent all your time messing around with the monsters. So after I realised that could happen, I kind of stopped playing around with the monsters altogether, and just concentrated on the main storyline. But if you do get into the monster battles, what you're seeing here is Ark Arena, and you can enter in various arena battles. You choose teams of 4 monsters, and they're pitted against monsters controlled by the PlayStation. You don't have any direct control over your monsters, so you've just got to sit back and hope that they're strong enough to handle themselves in combat. Similar things have been done in the Dragon Quest games. Obviously my character's just leveled up. That's one of the few monsters that you do get as part of the story. That's Pawnedit, who's Lieza's pet wolf doggy thing. Also in Ark Arena, there are a few other odds and ends. There's Shanty's Theatre, where you can go to listen to a song that featured in the main game. If you want to listen to it again, then it's there in Ark Arena, and you can also watch some little skits that the main characters are carrying out. I believe if you manage to win these battles, you do get exclusive items, which could help you out in the main game. I mean, at this point in my save game, it was right before the end of Ark 2, so any items that I would have won wouldn't really have been much use anyway at that point. So, but the option is there. So that's it for this time. I'll see you again in part 3. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed it.